we are with another episode. Oh my God. Like, I literally just text Jamie a little while ago, like, girl, you ready? Episode 16. I can't even
Whoop,
believe it.
whoop.
We are already 16 episodes in, every single week, coming in hot with some new information, some valuable and tangible stuff for you guys to put into practice, but also to walk away feeling more inspired, more motivated, and ready to get to work. And in all of that, I have someone for you guys today that is going to rock your boots. Like, she is going to like she's like crossing my fingers. No, for real, for real. We kind of met a while ago before on social media. Social media can be very good, guys.
Yeah.
And she inspired me and what she was doing, how she's advocating for women and helping women to be better, right? In their own versions. Her name is Miss Tocarra Nicole. She's a remarkable reckoned force, like a force that you need to like stop, hold up, take a second, and take it in. She's a 12-time author, two-time bestseller on Amazon, and she is better known as the identity architect. I had to like read that twice. I was like,
Woo!
okay. She is a publisher, strategist, author, and a visionary. Her guiding motto is choose to live a life on purpose for a purpose. Choose to
Mm.
live a life on purpose for purpose. Okay. To
Yes.
read after that one. And she's a passionate advocate for Christian women, entrepreneurs, empowers and unlocks their true selves, build successful businesses, brands, and ultimately rediscover their purpose. That is like, oh, like that is so beautiful. I feel like that's the thing that people kind of forget. They forget, and we become and we embody all these roles in our lives and the things that are happening and all of our challenges that we're all privy to. Like it happens to everybody, right? But we forget that it does happen to everybody, and that no one is really like shielded from trauma, from challenges. And in that, I wanted to like, introduce you, but also thank you for your time because I know that you have a lot going on. Like we've become friends virtually, and she has shared some of the stuff, some of her challenges, and I know she's going to share with us today some stuff that has been going on for her. And then not making that an excuse. So Tocarra, without further ado, the stage is yours.
What? Listen, I'm so geeked. Life is lifing, and I say that all the time. Like life happens for us and to us, and we just have to figure out how to continue to move through. I mean, you said so much. Yes, I'm the identity architect. I'm super excited that I have the honor to be on this platform. I don't take it lightly when someone comes and asks me to be on their platform, because there's tons of people that they can choose, but it's some kind of light that they're seeing or something that they're attracted to. And I say it's God, the God in me that people are attracted to be able to put me on these platforms and to share. My goal is to just empower somebody, whether it's one person, whether it's 50 people, to really get up and move and understand how powerful we are as people, but specifically as women, because women go through so many things that some talk about, some don't talk about. And it's really important for us to really create that sisterhood and those safe places for women to be able to share. And so I'm a native of Chicago, go Chi-Town, and now I'm here in Omaha, Nebraska. And so God really has me on assignment. Super excited to be in this new territory. It's just amazing on when God says he's going to make all things new. What does that look like? And so it's just been a journey these last 7 months that I've been in a new territory. I'm really thankful for the people that I'm meeting, really thankful for the reinvention of myself. I said that this is a season of reads, whether it's me being renewed, restored, reinventing, recollaborating, just really doing that reinvention in that process of looking at yourself and kind of saying, okay, what needs to be tweaked just a little bit and what needs to be added. I think as women, sometimes we don't do that enough. So excited to
I
be here.
agree. Yeah, for sure. It is one of those moments in our lives, and I love that because you have made like from when I met you, yeah, you were in Chicago, like so. There's
Yeah.
been such transitions. I know you have dealt with a lot of issues or kind of like challenges, better said, with your dad. Like, how
Yeah.
is he doing?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I went from being this full-time entrepreneur to being a full-time entrepreneur and then being a caregiver. And so I have a huge appreciation for those who are caregivers, because there's so much that goes unsaid to caring for somebody part-time, full-time, anytime. And then let's add on parent. Um, yeah, that's a lot. And so my dad's doing good. He's a little stubborn, but he's a guy, so we give him grace. And so I think the really big picture of my dad and what's going on with him is that God is using his process to heal other people, and as along with healing him. And so my dad had open heart surgery back in August of 2021, and he had a stroke right after. During that process of recovering, he had a stroke while he was still in the hospital, like shortly after the open heart surgery took place. And so he's learning how to walk and talk again, and then since then he had another stroke. And so he's really in this place of really trusting God, and we are trusting God with him. And so it's just a journey for everyone to really see his growth and our growth as a family unit, and really just being grateful for another day.
I think that that's a big thing because, God has a mission, and I'm like adoring that sign behind you. I am his. I am loving it. Like,
Thank you.
I want to go make one for myself now and put it somewhere here. I love it. So I think it's absolutely true. And I think that that is one of the biggest things, is kind of like just trusting and leaning into that spirituality, that faith, where it's the unknown. Because like you, I think that's one of the reasons why, before even knowing that, we connected, because God has his ways, and he draws you right to who you need to go, so I went from being well over six-figure earner in my household and very accomplished master's degree, to being now at home, and which I love. I don't complain. It's being a stay-at-home mom, and now a bonus mom to my niece and nephew, but because I had to be my sister's caregiver. So from being corporate America and running this and this show and this phone and this, to now making it small, but also being very big. But very big in my own platform. Very big in my own house.
Oh my
very
God.
Essential to everyone in my life, right? And sometimes we take those things that are so, like, we look at them as small because now that money's not there. Now that got go girl, that got cut down so much. Sometimes it hurts a little bit. But Lord knows he's gonna multiply that for me.
Yeah, he will.
Because there's a reason and a season for everything. And so I also, like you, have a very big heart for those that are caregivers and have to make those adjustments. And in saying that, because I know that you've dealt with a lot and you've been making those twists, and in addition to that, moving from state to state. I moved from New York to Connecticut. You moved from Chicago to Nebraska. Like, it's a lot. And taking it all on. Yeah. How have you managed to be able to continue to be this identity architect? And I see you in doing like TV. I see you doing like, girl, you was all over the place. Tell me, how are we managing all this? Where's this time management coming from?
You know what? It's funny. I was talking to one of my employees, because literally God has had me come back to a 9 to 5. And my prayer was, and this is why we have to be so intentional with our prayers. That's a whole nother time for a whole nother topic. I'm sure they'll have me back. We can talk just about praying. Okay.
Yes.
And being intentional. And so I told God, I said, when it's time for me to go back to my 9 to 5, I need it to be in alignment with who I am and what I do. And I literally am a regional supervisor for an amazing program here called the Fatherhood Initiative Program. And we literally help dads in the community, as well as those that are incarcerated, with providing them with the tools and resources to become better dads. Pause for the cause. Now, that's so special and near and dear to my heart, because I am a fatherless daughter. When I speak of my dad, I'm speaking of my bonus dad. He's my stepdad. I don't call him stepdad because he's an amazing dad. He's my bonus dad. I'm my mother's only child, but I'm the fourth out of 22. And I grew up without my dad. My dad's in prison for life. And so being able to be a supervisor of this program, that we just got recognized last month by the governor, and now June is Fatherhood Celebration Month because of the program that we are. Yes, it's amazing. But God is very intentional. So I said, God, when it's time for me to go back to work, and I needed to be in alignment with who I am and what I do. and here is this. And so we have to be very intentional about our prayers. We really do. We can't just be saying willy-nilly things, and God is not a genie. So we can't be, only come to him when we want something and when we need something. That's not how prayer works. And so it's just been a faith walk for real. My 9 to 5 is more of an 8 to 5. And I have learned how to structure my time after that and on the weekends. Sundays, I don't do any work. I try my best not to do anything. It's church, family on Sundays. Unless it's like maybe a class that I'm offering that I'm feeling led to do it on a Sunday night, or a meeting that's in alignment with what I'm doing. But I try my best to leave Sundays to be that day where I don't do any work. And so what I'm learning is how some things just need to go, and it's okay to say bye.
I love that. That's amazing.
Listen, we have to. We have 168 hours in a week. And I challenge people, but what you doing with your time? Because people are like, oh my God, Tocarra, you do so much. How do you sleep? I'm like, why are you all over here in my Kool-Aid trying to figure out the flavor? Master your own 168 and figure that out for yourself.
I love that. I love that.
What did you say? Master your 168?
Yeah, we have 168 hours in a week. Master.
Yes. Diana, write that down. That needs to be our slogan for when we put the
mind your business. Master your 168.
Yeah.
Somewhere sit down.
Yeah. Listen, that's perfect. That is perfect. That's gonna be the name of the episode.
Master your, for real. I love it.
That's it. That's it. We got it. We got it. Normally I try to take inspiration from the entire interview to name it, but this is it. This is it right here.
I'm a hot mess, y'all. So if I don't get it back, I understand.
No, that's perfect. But I wanted to ask you something. It's something that you said earlier kind of stuck with me a little bit as we were you were conversating with Diana, but the reinventing yourself, right? I call myself the queen of reinvention because I think I'm on career number 5, give or take. Not sure. I too have been moving all over the place because I'm prior military. So I've bounced around a lot. I landed here in Florida 3 years ago, right? So when you said that about reinventing yourself, I was like, man, that kind of hit home for me because I used to put myself down for reinventing myself, for wanting something different, for wanting to look at a different color, to just, spread my wings and fly in a different direction. When everybody else was flying south, I wanted to fly north type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So like what grounds you when you are reinventing yourself, when you are taking a new leap of faith?
Man, this is good. It's funny, I was doing an interview last night, and the one thing that I was asked was like, how do I do everything I do and how do I manage? And so you're saying the same thing. When it's time for me to reinvent myself, I'm very in tune with God. When I say I'm in tune with God, I am in tune with God. I can literally feel the weight of some things, and I can know when it's not something that I need to continue to do. So when it's time for me to Diana, when I say me and God, we like this, like I can feel it. I start feeling stuff right back here. It just feels like tense. I can feel like if somebody was pressing on my shoulders, I can kind of feel that heaviness. And then I'm constantly in conversation with God. I said, okay, what do you want me to do with this? Why am I feeling like this? What is this? Let me get to the root of this. Show me this. So I think at times we're not really asking God to really guide us. We say that we are, but Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and not lean to your own understanding. When we lean to our own understanding, we get stuck in places longer than we should be. And so when it's time to reinvent yourself, you really have to be in tune and just listen to yourself, because you're listening to yourself and you're listening to God because he's in you. Mic drop.
Amen.
Mic drop. And so when it's time to reinvent yourself, one of the things that I've learned is that this is personal. This is intimate. I'm on the potter's wheel. I don't care what anybody else got to say, think, feel. If God's wanting me to reinvent myself, basically he's ending a chapter in one book and starting a whole new book. But he has a way of strategically allowing for these chapters to pour into your life in a way that is going to help other people. So if I listed everything that I've done in my career, you'd be like, for real? But when I tell you everything that God has had for me to do, and when I reinvented myself, it all matches up. So I think of our lives, flow with me for a second, like a wooden table, and there's just puzzle pieces scattered all over the place. He literally strategically puts our puzzle pieces in place so we can see the bigger picture of things. So when you're reinventing yourself, sometimes it feels really scattered, but the more you walk, the more you trust, the more you let go, the more you're not linked to your own understanding and saying, I'm gonna make a way for myself. Like, we can't do that. Reinventing yourself is a powerful thing. And a lot of times we are not reinventing ourselves for ourselves. We're reinventing ourselves according to our purpose.
That's a fact. And let me tell you something. I love how you put that, how you felt like that, how you feel that weight and stuff like that, because I describe it in a similar way too, right? Where I feel this, in Spanish is inquietud. In English, it would be like a bother, or like some kind of like energy that's pulling you or pushing you one way or the other, right? And so when I have, you know, my intimate talks and my private talks with God, it's a whole lot of just give me clarity, just give me wisdom. Yeah. Whatever this feeling is, whatever is boiling up inside, you know, when it does come out, I want it to come out as the best me that there is. Whatever your purpose for me is, then just show me. Exactly. Right. And then literally the next day I'll walk into whatever I'm walking into, and something happens or somebody says something and I'm like, thank you. Bye. Next. You know? It's like I knew it. I just had to hear it. I just had to see it. I had to hear it. I had to feel it. Something had to happen that had to cross my path to show me, hey, this is the joke that you've been waiting for. This is where you're going, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that having that kind of spirituality, that kind of like connection with yourself, understanding yourself, has a lot to do with that reinventing yourself part, right? But you know, we also have to acknowledge that trauma or past experiences or whatever makes us also has to do with it, because you know, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but a lot of the things that you're saying are based on some kind of root pain that you've suffered, right? Including your job right now, right? You mentioned your father's in jail, but you have your bonus dad who's been there. So now you're serving, you know, a community of humanity, because that's what it is, right? In a special way, right? So, you know, how does that kind of fill your cup, if you will?
Oh my God. Words can't describe. It's such a peace and a joy. Like, some people think that I'm wired and that I'm on meds to make me happy, because what you see is what you get, like 99.8% of the time. Like, I'm just a happy person. And I've done that work to really understand like who I am. And so when I can understand who I am, I can understand why I'm strategically being placed in different positions. And it's fulfilling. I thought I was going to be a lawyer and eventually a judge. So me doing the work that I'm doing, you couldn't tell me that I'd be doing it. But it's definitely fulfilling. I am a big baby about what I do. It takes, like, I'm holding back tears now, if I'm being honest. I can cry at the drop of a dime when I think about who God has created me to be, because I fought it for so long. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be a part of the cliques. And it's like, no, I need you to be this person. I need you to walk in this. I need you to be, you know, and so it's cool now. I mean, do I have my trials and tribulations? Absolutely. Do I have my moments? Sure. But it's fulfilling. The work that I do for these dads, I wish my dad would have had some program like this to be able to have that guidance and that support. When we get our success stories of a dad being able to have visitation with their kid after, you know, being treated horribly, because dads are treated horribly. Moms get all the glory. We do have some dads that deserve some trophies. And the system just doesn't allow for dads to get the glory that they should. It's really bad. And it's it varies state by state, but being able to do the work that I do all the way around, I sleep very good at night. I'm not up tossing and turning. I'm happy. I wake up happy. I get excited to go to my job. I get excited to go to jail. And I have to be reminded, like I tell my guy, I'm like, hey, I'm about to be in jail, just in case you call, and then I'd be like, okay, that sounds really bad. Let me reword that. But he understands the work that I do, because I can be in jail for like an hour or 2 hours, depending on how long I'm seeing my dads. And so it's just rewarding. There's no other way to put it. I wouldn't change where I'm at in my life for anything. I'm very happy in all areas of what I do and how I serve people. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, and to achieve happiness.
Man.
I had this conversation with my mother right after I divorced, and she was just kind of questioning, my decisions of moving out of the state and things like that, being a single mom, all that jazz, right? And she was like, well, what is it that you want to do now? Because where are you going to go? And where is this and that? And I just told her, I said, I'm chasing peace and happiness. I was like, because I've sacrificed it for far too long.
Yeah.
I was like, and to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I felt that things were going sideways for me in life were because I lost that connection with God, because I ignored whatever my purpose was supposed to be and put it on a side plate, on the corner of the table. And for what reason? And for who?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's
So
one of the things that you have to worry about the most, is when you put yourself in that type of corner, when you're like, you've kind of like gone away from what is truly you. Like you put Jamie to the side, when Jamie has to be first and foremost, no matter what. And I think that's one of the reasons why I started this journey, where it was like, I was on quote unquote on paper happy and checking off all these amazing bucket lists of the house, the car, the, in the relationship, my son, and I had all these things that on paper looked right, but I was abandoning me and God and everything that mattered truly, because peace and happiness is something that you can't buy with money. You have to acquire through your faith and through the work that you do every single day, and you just have to feel that. So I get that, man. That hits hard.
And it's true, because even like illnesses or stress, or like just anything that pains you or ails you, if you're not right spiritually, if you're not right in your mind, if you're not centered, you could have millions and millions of dollars, 5 houses, the pool, the huge backyard, the 3 Beamers, whatever floats your boat when it comes to monetary things, right? But if you're not happy, if you're not centered, if you're not full, if your cup of spirituality isn't full, then you're not really, what is your asset?
Exactly.
If you're supposed to be your biggest asset, and God empowers you to be his embodiment, right? And his vessel, and you're not even filling your the vessel that God gave you, then where are you and why? And for what reason, right? So that's like a lot, like a huge journey for me to like travel myself, mentally, spiritually, in order to like kind of get myself to that place, right? So I just think it's so beautiful, and it just brings me like to this kind of like warmth place to even have this type of conversation with somebody, because it's so difficult to have.
Oh my God.
Man, like some people look at you, and the moment that you start speaking about spirituality or peacefulness or happiness, you might as well be cursing them out.
Pretty much in every language there is. Yep.
Right? They be like, oh, what is peace? What is peace? Oh, what is peace? This is life. You need to come back to real life. And I'm like, but do y'all want to be at war all the time? Like, are you trying to just fight every day? Like I can't. I can't imagine waking up every day with that mindset of like, today I'm going to war.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a lot. And you know what I don't like also? Like, I feel like sometimes people also think that because you're like, so this is also me, and Jamie's the same way. Jamie's authentically who she is all the time. I show up the same way. Like, I tell people on Instagram and on Facebook all the time, like, what you see is what you get. Like, legit. If anything, it gets even happier. It gets even crazier in person. Like, that's right? Anything, but I want people to understand that just because you're happy kumbaya and you're always searching for that silver lining, or always searching for the mission that you're put into this world, that doesn't mean that you're abstained from challenges and you're abstained from, it's that you look at them differently. It's that my rebound is much faster. That maybe where I was at before in life, it would take me a month, it would take me weeks to get to where I'm at. Now it's like oh no, let me just call Jamie, and I say a few words. We talk to each other, we say a prayer, and it's all back. And it's like, no, there's no faith in worry. When you're worried, you're not in faith. So it's
No.
like kind of, and the moment, and it literally, it's a lesson that you got to learn all the time, and you got to keep working through them because you're not, you're human. I literally had those moments this week, and I was like, Jamie, Lord, he'll take the week. And she was like, girl, we're not doing that. Not today.
Not doing that.
No. We're not doing that. We're doing this. We're going to fix it. And the moment that I just remembered, centered back, Lord, I did my journaling and prayed, bam, two things happened. Another good opportunity, because you just have to lower it. Bring yourself back to center and remember that you are this temple, this amazing vessel that's been put on this planet. And every person has a different mission, right? Like for me, I always say that my mission in life is to add light and love in people's lives because I have a lot of love to give. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I find myself humbly super intelligent and very wise. So therefore, I can give you I know it comes off bossy, but I promise you, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Like, do what I'm telling you to do.
That's confidence. And we're saying so much. And the one thing that you reminded me of is we have to be very intentional to not be distracted by things that come up. So for me, I had I thought it was a cancer scare, being honest. Had all that good girly stuff done, and they told me they saw some stuff on one of my breasts, and I freaked out. I lost it. I got scared. And I had to really come back to a place and say, if God is healer, why am I freaking out? All they said is that they saw something. I went back to, oh, well, this person has cancer, my family, and this person has. So you start taking yourself down that pathway, and then you're like, hold on, let me come back and regroup. And a lot of times we have to understand that the enemy is real and he's not real. So we have to remember that. He knows how to plant seeds in our head, and that's all it is. Because he can't do anything else. He doesn't have dominion to actually do something. The only thing that he can do is disrupt this battlefield that's in our brain. That's it. That's all. He can't touch nothing. He can't change nothing. He can't make something suddenly appear. He ain't powerful like that. And so I had to remind myself. I was like, hold on, Tocarra, you really tripping. Like, that's how I talk to myself. Like, girl, I'm gonna need for you to turn it all the way down and get to the root. Like, I'm really big. Even when I have my conversations with my guy, I said, okay, we did this. Okay, so how are we gonna resolve it? What's the root? Where are we going? How are we gonna lay this foundation to rebuild? And so sometimes we have to have those conversations with ourselves. Okay, Scar, get to the root of why are you feeling like this? All right, so how are you gonna change this? What are you gonna do? And I don't know about in the African American culture, I'll say this. Talking to yourself meant you were crazy. And so I had to unlearn that and be like, no, talking to myself actually makes me intelligent because I can ask myself these questions that can push and shove me out of a place. So if I didn't talk to myself, then I'd be really crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy. I talk to myself.
And I'm crazy too.
I have to shove myself out of those places and spaces. And what I realized is that we're powerful women sitting on this platform together, being able to have this healthy discussion, because we also have created tribes to where we can go to people and they are like-minded and they can kick us out of that rut in 2.5 seconds and we're gone. And a lot of people who like that disruption, they're gathering with other people who like disruption. And that's why they're stuck. That's why they can't go nowhere. They love drama. They love when you caught up in some quote unquote drama. Because it ain't drama to us. It looks like drama to you because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that moment to plant a seed and try to get me to stop doing what I know that I'm doing because it don't look like and sound like what you want it to look like because you live a drama-filled life and that's what floats your boat. That don't do nothing.
That's a choice. Yeah, that's a choice that you're making because you're not looking at it a different way. Everything is perspective, I feel like because you're really stuck in that. Yeah, girl, like I'm telling you, we dropping bars today and we could talk for like 5 hours because there's just so much. This is where the wisdom comes in, but it's an active choice of working on your spirituality. It's an active choice of seeking the knowledge to change and saying Tocarra, saying Diana, Jamie, like girl, you better That's not what we're doing. And it's so much that at this point I can say, I don't know about anyone else, but at least for me and Jamie, right? Like, we both have children, we're moms of one. For Jamie's daughter and for my son, they do this for a fact, where like they see us now when we check ourselves and we do things. So my son, I can't say I look like Free Willy. Like I just joke like, oh, I don't look good in this. I look like Free Willy. Mom, don't you dare say that. You're beautiful. Don't talk to yourself that way. But it's because he knows we don't, the things that we say stay photographed in our head and then we repeat the cycles. But he knows because mommy uses words like emotional intelligence and making sure that we're kind to each other. And that, so it's that thing that not only are you impacting yourself, but you're impacting everyone around you. And I think I said this in the last podcast, like people fail to realize that I start talking to you and I talk about some mess and whatever gossip. But on the end, my son or whoever is on the tablet, but they're listening, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to be away from you and they're going to be in another little group of kids. And then they're going to spew that. And that is a pay it forward in the reverse action, not the pay it forward that you're looking for. Now, if they hear things on like, yeah, girl, no, pray about it. Let's sit here and pray, girl. Let's try this. Girl, no, because when I did it, I had this solution. Let's be problem solution attitude. Oh, so then now he's going to go ahead and apply that same knowledge to himself, to his friends. It's everything pays forward and people are not realizing that your confidence in your children, in your marriage, in your friendships, in work, expand based starting with you.
That's it.
Oh, absolutely. And it spreads to everybody. It spreads to your neighbor. It spreads to your friends. It spreads to your coworkers. How you deal with situations and people who are around you and listening to the words that you're using, to your mannerisms and stuff like that. Like all of that matters, right? A lot of people look at me and they're like, how do you not get angry? I do. I just don't fester in it. There's a difference, right? It's not like I'm emotionless, right? I don't just like, oh, I'm just happy and just this beautiful daisy. I mean, I am a beautiful daisy, but hear me out. Like, I don't just fester in any emotion, right? Yeah. And I say the same thing to my daughter, right? I always tell her, it's okay to feel any emotion that you're feeling. You have your right. It is healthy. You want to cry, scream, kick, let it out. Yeah. What's not okay is for you to sit in that block of mental fog and negative emotion, because the only person you're hurting is you. I'm going to go and live my life. Everybody else around you is going to go and live their life. But you are going to stay in a little tiny block and you're going to fester and you're going to hurt your little heart. Yeah. As I said, you cannot stay in that. And so I live by that because I learned a long time ago that festering in negative emotion only attracts negative emotion. It only attracts that negative person that you were talking about earlier, that whole drama person. If all you're doing is calling a friend, oh my God, because he cheated on me, because he this, oh my God, because I hate my job, oh my God, because my coworker, oh my God. If everything is an oh my God, the people around you are staying around you and revolving around you because you're that negative, because you're their negative outlet.
And God can't send you more. If you're saying this is too much,
you're blocking your own blessing.
I'm so tired, this job, but that opportunity that he had lined up for you, girl, he's not going to send it now because you said it's too much. So now I even watch my words when I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. No, I'm not. I need to relax my legs. I'm not tired. Let's go out. More in me.
No, you have to be intentional.
You have to be. And, I tell my clients all the time when I'm talking to them and they say things like, I really am working, and my guy keeps me accountable to this. I really am working on not using the word try. It's just one of those words that I'm working very hard to eliminate from my vocabulary. And I share often, words are seeds. What are you planting? And then I go back to, if God formed the world off of words, because that's what Genesis talks about. He called this that, he called this that, he called this that, and then he went and said, I call it good. So what are you doing with what you're speaking over your life? Like when you speak negative and you wonder, oh my God, why is that? Because you're talking about it. You are meditating on it. You are walking in it. You're gossiping about it. You're acting it out. So what do you expect?
Yeah, you bring it to life, and it's crazy because you really do. And if you have a partner that you're having a relationship with, your words are also affecting them. So now they're reacting to your words. They're reacting to your negative actions.
Yep.
You know, your children are going to react to your negative actions, right? Because they're going to go to school and act the same way or worse. You never know, right? Because when you plant a seed, you don't know exactly what's coming out.
Oh.
It could be a 10-foot tall tree, or it could be a tiny little bud that never grows, right? You just don't know, right?
And
so you do have to be intentional, right?
I'm so thankful. I love kids, but I tell people all the time, God has not shown me how a kid actually comes out of a woman. Like I need to understand that process, because I can't comprehend how a big old baby comes from there. So I said, until he comes off of his throne and has a one-on-one conversation with me on how babies are made, then maybe I will consider having one. But until that day comes, I am so content without having kids, because I'm a mama bear to everybody else's kids, and even my employees. People know, don't touch with that one, don't mess with that one, don't talk to that one crazy. Like, we're not gonna do that. And so I can only imagine how it would be as a mom. Like, I would probably be the one to be up at the school all the time, you know.
Mhm.
Are you talking to my baby? Oh, do we have a conversation? Whether it's the teacher, the principal, the cafeteria woman. So I know God is very intentional and did not give me natural kids for a reason, and I appreciate that. And I told my mom, like I said, I'm an only. And so my mom's like, are you sure you don't want to have kids? I was like, no. I was like, I feel like God answers prayers. The generational curses stop with me, literally, because I'm not birthing a child.
There you go.
Let me tell you, I think that you would be what we call, which I love to be called. I'm proud of it. I actually had a lady today at soccer. I saw her walking by, and like when you're having a conversation with someone, but you're kind of like from the side of your eye, your peripheral, you could see the person walking and smiling. And I'm almost certain that she was laughing at what I said, and she wasn't in the conversation, because I said, I don't care. I don't mind that people judge me. I'm a helicopter mom. I don't give a crap.
Oh my God, I heard that saying for the first time yesterday. No. It was Monday. And I was like, what's a helicopter mom? And she was like, one that hovers. I'm like, oh, that's my mama. I'm 41, and my mama's still a helicopter mom all the way from Chicago to Omaha, Nebraska. My mom's like, are you at home? Do you have your alarm on? Are you almost are you leaving work? I'm like, yeah. Well, I'm gonna talk to you until you get home. And then I walk in the door. I didn't hear the alarm go on. Is everything like? I'm like, look, fam, like, you're doing too much. Okay. You're 7.5 hours away. Like, what are you doing over here? And I could go grab me something to eat, and it's like 8:00, and she's like, are you by yourself? Well, where's your boyfriend? He's not with you? Like, Mom, I'm good. Okay.
She's about to call your boyfriend and be like, why you got my baby?
Why you let him go?
Pretty much. Hold on, Jamie, why you playing? That was the whole scenario. When I moved here, she literally, we were walking through the grocery store, we were getting ready to cook dinner for Christmas. And she's like, is Tim there? I'm like, yeah. She's like, hey, Tim. And he's like, hey, Mom, how you doing? And I had just moved here. And she was like, well, my baby's with you now. So I expect for you to take care of her. She's your responsibility now. You do understand that. And just making sure that you and I are clear, because you don't want me to have to come there about her. Like, and she's on speaker while we're walking through the grocery store I was so like, are you kidding me right now? Are we really doing this, Mom? Like, seriously? Yeah. Helicopter mom. My mom takes
the hat.
I plan on following my baby everywhere. Everywhere. When she goes to college, I'm just gonna be her neighbor. Like, I'm not gonna live with her, like that'll be too much.
Yeah, no.
But if she needs dinner, I'll be there. If she wants me to cook for the week, I'll be there. If she needs a ride somewhere, I'll be there.
I get it though.
Drunk, I'll be there.
This world is crazy, and that's why I don't have kids either. I don't understand it. With that,
I love it.
I'm good. That and new math, I'm good, because this whole new math that kids gotta do.
Oh, yes.
That's a whole nother thing.
No, don't even talk to me about that. And let me tell you, before I ask you my next question, I have a really good one for you. But that, you are absolutely, damn, nobody has said that out loud. It's so true. That, and the fact that I have to homeschool when they go to school. What is that? because I feel like they're not doing the job. So I got to do it for you again at home. Like I just told my sister, I said, I think I'm going to do Monday through Thursday regular classes. So I have them in summer school, like at home. Like they do summer school at home. So we do like,
wow.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I do like, I'm very like, so we do, but it's only like about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. They take longer. That's on them because they're just moving slow. But we do a little bit of math, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right? So, but I said Fridays. I said Fridays, I think we need to do a check-in. We need to give them a day off. And I think I need to teach them etiquette and manners. They're good kids, they're proper. But certain things that you see, I don't want you to emulate. No, 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 no. Billy, don't do that right. We don't want you doing that. So I want to teach you how we do it, how body language is language, how we talk, how do we respond. Like, so I'm like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna talk about our emotions and all this way of the world and all these new things that are he, she pronouns. We're gonna talk about them on Fridays.
Come on. Listen, while you're doing that, can you bring cursive back in the mix so they know how to?
Oh,
Yes.
So they know how to sign their name. I'm just saying, like, why would we take that out the school system? Who we need to write? We need to lobby them.
no. That's see, that's another no, this is episode number 3 for you already. Spirituality, prayer. Let's talk about parenting. Come on, man.
Listen,
no.
you know what? You might be the second guest, I think, total that has covered more than 2 topics in one episode. So we have 4 pillars, right? And I always get this wrong, but I'm gonna try today. It's time, financial, spiritual. Help me out here.
Wealth,
Wow. Yeah, but it's time, financial,
financial, spiritual,
spiritual.
and damn,
Yeah,
I'm
see?
forgetting yep,
I always
I'm
forget.
forgetting one
I
too.
always forget one.
Yeah.
It doesn't
But-
matter. As long as I'm
but
on
you-
air, I'm gonna forget one of the pillars. But anyhow, my point is that familial. There you go.
Family.
Familial, time, financial,
Wow.
and spiritual.
That's what
And
women
you have
wealth
covered
means, those 4.
almost every single one. So yeah, I think you're the second. If I'm not mistaken, you're the second guest that we have had to cover this many topics, which is phenomenal.
There's a lot.
It just
When
shows how
you're having
well-rounded of a person you are.
exactly, like I was just gonna say that, like when you have so much, like hello, I'm like I'm
Yeah.
pulling up the bio again, and I'm like, girl, like you just it truly is an identity, like you just encompass everything, right? And so that's really really dope. But I wanted to talk about because we're just getting into it, and literally we are like almost 45 minutes in already. And we haven't even covered the part that you're an author. Now, let me just say, we are writing our first book.
Yes, we are.
Go for it. It's so amazing.
We're really excited. So tell us a little bit about that journey. How did you
Yeah.
start becoming an author? What was that like? Why did you decide that? And then we'll go from there.
Jeez. So I love sharing this story because it's funny. And my mom might not think it's so funny. But anyways, so I remember being 7 years old, and I remember my mom buying me this floral looking journal. I can see it in my head, and it had a lock. I thought it was a real lock, but it really wasn't. Anyways, so when my mom would make me really mad and she would put me on punishment, I would take it out and I would journal. Typically I'd be like, man, she's making me mad, she's such a mean mom, da, da, da. And then I would go into like really just creative writing and storytelling and poetry sometimes. And so I didn't realize that the foundation of me being this author stemmed way back to when I was 7. And so then, like I said, I asked myself these questions, right? Remember I told you I asked myself questions. And so when I started to really put the pieces together, so started at 7, and then I remember winning awards as a kid for a young authors program that we had at our schools. And so I remember drawing my pictures and writing and telling stories. And so I became a published author, I believe for the first time, it was like 2014. And it was a co-author book project, or we call them anthologies. And it was talking about the reinvention project, When Failure Speaks was the name of the title. And the book didn't go anywhere. Everything that this person said that we were going to do, we didn't do. We never saw money from it, and I thought it was a failure. And so then God remembered to show me that when I was having the book edited by the editor for the project, she was like, your chapter is pretty powerful. How long did it take you to write it? And I was like, oh, about 72 hours. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. She's like, and you have the least edits. I was like, that's interesting. So what I thought was a real failure wasn't. And so, long story short, it catapulted me into writing more within these anthologies. And so 2018, I came out with, I keep my books by me. I came out with this one in 2018. Daddy, Where Art Thou? And it's my story of me sharing how, remember, my dad was incarcerated, still is incarcerated. This tall guy, I knew he was tall, but I didn't see him much as a kid growing up. So didn't remember his face. So that's why it says daddy on there, but it says tall guy. And so basically what I wrote this book to share with kids is that no matter if dad's not around, there's always a community of people who love you. And that's what the book is about. I mean, because growing up, I had a community of people, whether it was my next door neighbor, my babysitter across the street, and they didn't look like me, you know, so they were Caucasian, Italian, Jamaican, you named it. So I was very much introduced to culture at a very young age. And so someone asked me in 2018, hey, why don't you help me write a book? And I laughed at them. I was like, girl, I don't do that. That's not what I do. And God was like, I need for you to start this publishing company. I was like, God, why would I have a publishing company? That makes like no sense. This is how I'm talking to God. Like, seriously, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, whatever. He was like, I need you to start the company. I was like, fine. So I thought I was being a slick one, created the logo, and kept on moving with myself. Whatever. And then this girl was like, no, seriously, in 2019, she came to me. It was January because my birthday was in January. I remembered it clear as day. At the time, I got paid once a month, right? And so my paycheck about $1,100 short. So I thought that I had all my loans in forbearance. There was one that was not. And I worked for the institution that I went to school for. So they took it out of my paycheck. Yeah. And so God goes, so you're going to help this girl with this book or no? What are you going to do? I told you to start the publishing company. All right. So created an invoice, threw it out there. She paid it in an hour. I said, okay. All right. Then I put a post in this group on social media. Well, one of my girls saw the post. She was like, yo, why you didn't tell me you helping people write books? Send me an invoice. Sent her an invoice. Paid in 48 hours. I said, okay, God, I got it. That's how I started my publishing company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I started. And so at that time, yeah, it was crazy. And then I wrote like 3 books during the pandemic. Who does that? It was just crazy. One of them I wrote in 28 days. Who does that? And so I said, okay, God, I got you. And so then 2020, he was like, okay, combine the consulting company, because that's what I started in 2017, is to consult people who have all these concepts and ideas and just get stuck with actually, you know, mapping them out
together.
Yeah. And so he's like, combine the consulting company with the publishing company. I was like, God, who does that? So my butt, not trusting the Lord with all your heart and lean to your own understanding. Actually, that was the scripture for 2020. So anyways, so Googling. He was like, you can stop. Blueprint is not in Google. I'm going to give you the blueprint. And when I tell you 2020 fourth quarter was the best quarter I ever had in my business, the best quarter I've ever had in my business. So this authorship journey led me into being a publisher. And even with the authorship journey, I ran across somebody else who did me wrong, who was just a fraud. And that's why I was hurt. I'm like, God, why are you asking me to start a company? You know that I've been done dirty by 2 people who call ourselves publishers. He's like, that's why I want you to create it, because you actually have a passion to help people get their stories out. Let's go back. Man, I'm telling you, puzzle pieces. So I was told I was a marketplace minister. Had no clue what that meant, because I'm like, God, you can't be calling me to wear a collar. I know that ain't cute on me. So that's definitely not it. So I know you ain't talking about that kind of minister. And he's like, no. I was like, well, thank you, Jesus, because I can't see myself in a pulpit. That ain't it for me. And so 2020 was the year where he made me understand what that meant. That whole identity architect, helping people to understand who they are to launch into the marketplace. That was my ministry. I was like, oh, light bulbs. And so this right, this whole authorship journey, and it's amazing. I love helping people get their stories out. because a lot of people are like, who wants to hear from me? I was like, you might not be a Gail or Oprah, but stop comparing yourself to that. There's people you all the time, whether it's the person that's in front of you in Walmart or the person next to you at a gas station. They need to hear your story. They need to figure out, wow, for real, like your story is speaking so much to me and my purpose. Where can I get your book? So I really help my clients understand how authorship is a form of entrepreneurship. How once you have that book, you have that product, now you have a whole stream, ocean, whatever you want to call it, you have a flow. And so, yeah, it just really came for me just continuously listening to God and these trials. Like when I lost my money, I was like, oh no, that's a whole $1,100. And at that time I was getting paid once a month. Like I knew every dollar. Right. You see what I'm saying now. Right.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you. Cause listen,
when God starts tapping into your money and it start looking funny, you like, okay, God, I surrender whatever you want me to do.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
No, but that's so beautiful though, because it's almost like that. It's in a movie somewhere. I think it's in Passengers or something, where she says the girl, the main character, is saying that, where she's writing a book and her father was a writer and she's writing a book and she's saying that she found this love in space, but it's almost accidental happiness because it just happened that way. And it was something that she was running from, for a long time. So I think that's interesting that's your story about how you became an author, because how often don't we see ourselves running from what's constantly in front of us and what we're constantly being told? I've been asked to create this platform, I want to say nearly 10 years now. I've been asked to monetize mentoring people. I've been asked a few things that I have just been, no, I'm not going to do that. I could never. Who am I? Who's going to listen to me? Yep. Right? Until finally I was like, all right. I got it. I heard y'all. I got it.
Yeah. And it be just like that. And a lot of times we're scared to step out, and it's not because we're like literally scared. I had to remember how our brains are wired. Our brains are wired for us not to do anything that is scary. Like, right. That whole protection mechanism within our brains. And so we have to find a way to like press past that. And so, I had to figure out how to make my brand make sense, and it does. And so we just have to figure out, like, being an author for me, it's everything. Like it's such a gift. It's such a flow. It's sometimes way scary. Like I can just sit down without an outline and be gone, lost in the sauce. There's sometimes I feel like that GIF where Kermit the Frog is at the typewriter and he just
right. He's like,
it's just such a flow. It just comes out so naturally, and that's when you have a gift, when you don't have to force it, and it just comes out.
And it just comes out.
You're doing what you want to do. I feel like I'm new to this game because Jamie and I have been putting together all of these amazing things that are just like one after the other. It's one of the things that we do together. Like we're just like magic together. So we like find a project, find something we're passionate about, and we're just like, all right, so we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and we're off, right? We're off to the races. And so the book being one of them. And so our book that's coming out is it's a collection of short stories, right? And so so it's based on our lives and just issues and things and challenges and whatnot. And a lot of times I always say I'm not a great writer. It wasn't never my forte, but I am a great speaker. I'm a great speaker and I have a lot to say, right? So what I do is I write. Jamie is the brains behind. Jamie is this, and Diana's, I'll tell you the whole story and then you write it.
Let me blow your mind. Let me blow your mind, Diana. And I tell my clients this all the time. And they look at me like a deer in headlights, and they probably want to cuss me out at times when I say what I'm getting ready to say. Once you're an author, you're a speaker. When you're a speaker, the two are interchangeably for a reason. And so I tell people, don't you dare worry about what words you use, how it comes. That's what an editor does. An editor is the one who makes everything beautiful. You just have to have the courage to get it out. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, because I tell people, look, I don't edit, and I don't edit because I change my own work 5,399 times. So I don't edit. I just go free flow, and then I send it to my editor, like, here you go, girl, make this look pretty. Because that's what people want. People want the authenticity of who we are. People
Right.
are tired of fake. It's
Yeah.
dead. They want people like the two of you writing this book, sharing your stories, because guess what? Short reads, which is a book that's less than 100 pages, sell better than anything, because people can get in and get out. So I tell my clients, look, we ain't writing the Bible, okay? You can come back and write volume 2, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as many as you want. Get in, get out, so the people can run and repeat the cycle. Get in, get out, people can run.
And what did I tell you, Diana? When Diana was like, oh, but a book? And I was like, girl, a short story book, a small book. Yes. She was just like, you know, I just realized that books can be short.
Yes. Like, honey, hold on. These are my clients.
I don't have, because, you know, when you start talking, you're like, I read it to myself. Yeah, look at that. I read them and I'm like, this is short. Is this really going to be a chapter?
Yeah.
This one's 38 pages. Don't play with me.
Yeah.
This one's like maybe 60. And all these babies, I say, and charge $20 for it. Why? Because people need to pay for your expertise.
The value.
Well, think about this. You know, one of the biggest selling books in the business world is project planning. Do you know how tiny those books are? They're maybe 15 pages of project planning, because it's just a guide of how to access information.
How to.
And how to plan. That's it.
That's it. And that's why I write self-help books.
Yeah.
Because people are looking for strategies. They are looking for keys. They are looking for transformation. And why not it be us, those that are vulnerable enough to share what we've gone through to help somebody else to shift and transform. So
oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I've been a geek and a super nerd my whole life, right? And when I started what I call my reading career, right? Because it was a career, you have to be dedicated to read a lot, right? But I used to, like, I think by the time that I was 12 or 13, maybe, I had already written the entire Shakespeare's collection, right? Oh. I had already written philosophers. I had already read about Sigmund Freud. Like, it was already a thing for me, right? Wow. But when I got to college, my English teacher, who also coached me into performing spoken word, he was also a publisher, right? And he was like, hey, I have a short story book that I think that fits your spoken word style and you would enjoy it. And I scoffed at him because I was so, you know, I'm so well read. And I was like, short story? No, girl, let me tell you something. I read that short story book and I think I went straight to the library and I got myself another five short story books because I was hooked. I was hooked.
You were hooked. Yeah.
How impactful a tiny little 3-page story can be, right? Yes. How, like, it's almost like it's poetic, to be honest with you, to read something so short and it's so impactful. And it's the same thing with the how-to books, right? Because you could read a whole autobiography about anybody. I don't know, pick a rich person, a super whatever, right? And they can try to walk you through a 500-page book of how they made it from birth to where they're at now. And you get nothing out of it.
Nothing.
And somebody tells you, hey, click on the window, copy, paste this, open that app, go get this book, go get that reference, and this is how you get from point A to D in 5 pages. And you're like, I'm awoken. I have risen. I have found the pot of gold.
Yes. And that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, stop stressing, overthinking like your book has to be the Bible. Like, stop.
Right.
We live in such a society. Not only is it a microwave society, but people want information for transformation. Either they're going to YouTube University, they're going to Google College, they're going somewhere to get this information.
Google College. I heard YouTube University before. I never heard Google College. One-liners.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not let it be you? Why not? And that's why I tell my clients, get out your head. Stop it. Go.
Absolutely.
Be who it is that God told you to be. Because that's a whole nother story. But I had to narrow my scope down to Christian female entrepreneurs because I was way too out there. And the one time that I got a client that was a witch, I had to bring it back in.
Oh.
I had to be like, I can't, yeah. And I didn't know. I was so naive. God is so good. He allowed for all of it to happen. And he said, now, darling, let me sit you down and tell you what just happened. And he showed me. Remember when she said this was this. Whenever she said this was that. When she's, but they expressed. He's like, yeah. And he's like, do you understand why I'm telling you to narrow it down? And from that day forward, I said I work with Christian female entrepreneurs. If you ain't professing God as Lord,
yeah, we got a problem. Oh my God, Tocarra, I swear to you, I feel like we're gonna have to book another day, girl. We're gonna have to book
I feel like we need to do a retreat with Tocarra.
Listen, we do. I'm down for it. And Jamie, I feel like you've been in my house because I just had a conversation with one of my girls who is starting a whole spoken word business, and she wants to go on tour, and she was looking for different places to stop. And so I'm just saying. So
I'm just saying. And let me blow your mind. Today we were just talking to people in DR, making moves and trying to see if DR might be our first retreat.
Look at her.
Okay.
So listen, my mother is right now in Dominican Republic looking at real estate. And so I was like, Mom, who's your real estate agent? Because your daughter's a real estate agent. And your daughter's a part of an international company. So you should just be bragging about your daughter. And she was just like, okay, Jamie, okay. And so
but you know what? It takes mamas is a whole nother, man. Y'all gotta talk about mamas. Mamas these days really don't understand our purpose and how we move.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
They don't get it. Like my mom's like,
it's a challenge.
It's a huge challenge. And you know what I had to say to it? God, just you and her. I exit stage left, I'm out. Curtains down, lights off. You do that.
Because my mama loves me.
Let me tell you something. There's nothing more powerful than your mother's prayer for you. And there's nothing more powerful than your mother's guidance and your mother's protection over you. Because that's why God made mamas.
God made mamas. Now, she might not understand my purpose to its totality because she was like, oh, baby, I'm so glad you're going back to work and you're going to be able to. Listen, boo, I'm not retiring at 62.5. That's not happening. We're gonna stay on this job until God says shift and I'm out. Yeah. So that's not it. And when they ask you, do you want to partake in our 401k? Nope, I ain't gonna be here that long enough to be a part of nobody's 401k. Give me all my coins. No, I'm not putting my money in your 401k system only for you to make more money than I do. No, thank you.
No. I've had to learn to pray about it. And just be like, it's okay. So sometimes I hear her and she's like, oh, she was doing so good before her career. Maybe she should go back to get a real job. And I'm like, oh Lord, before you used to sting me.
Girl,
that's just the safety net that they cast, where they try to like kind of keep you in line a little bit and maybe kind of give you that push because my mama thinks I'm crazy. She's just given up at this point. She just literally, when I call her, she knows my tone of voice, right? And if I call her and I'm like, oh, ¿cómo estás? What you do? What you got yourself into now? Who you sold? What happened? What happened, Jamie?
For real?
And I'm like, well, I kind of quit my job.
They don't get it. They don't get it. Now, here's the crazy part. My grandma gets it. Right. That's what I said. My grandma will be 80 in September. She gets it. The whole ADT man knew what I did. She pulling him up. This is my baby on Facebook. Yep, she's an entrepreneur. She's an author and publisher. Yep,
I know that's right.
Yep. I got all her books. I didn't read them all. Like, I'm like, Granny.
I love it.
That's beautiful, though.
The tribe is small. The tribe is very small. And that's okay. One thing I will say to all entrepreneurs, all Christian women, even not leaning in, that they're not sure if they want to be an entrepreneur or if they want to be a speaker or an author, whatever the path is that still has not even opened for you. first lean into your spirituality, lean into like real community, people in alignment with what you're looking for. And outside of that, it's just like kind of like don't listen to everyone. It's okay that everyone is not your person and that everyone doesn't understand, and pray about it, right? Like when in doubt, there's sometimes when I feel like, damn, I gotta call somebody. I feel stressed or and I'm like, no, you don't got nobody to call. Talk to Jesus. God got you. Talk to him, write about it in your journal, whatever it is, because every conversation doesn't need to leave this circle. It could just be you and him, right? Or you and maybe, you know, the 3 people that you trust, right? Because sometimes even the people that you love, my mother loves me hard. You know, I'm her baby, I'm her oldest, and I am like her manager, I do it all. I'm the house manager. I am the, you know, I got every role in this book that you can think of in her life. I even make her decisions at 64 because they just feel like, you know, the oldest knows what they're doing. But my mama is one of the very first persons to be like, I just can't wait till you make these millions. Girl, don't say that. Because the pressure that you put on me, girl. But she don't get it. She doesn't understand that. And she doesn't have to. It's my dream, my purpose, my vision, and only given to me. Because I am going to be the first millionaire, not the last in my family. Okay?
That's it.
No, that's right.
Period. Shut
No,
it all
that's
down.
right. Yep.
And when
And
my
you
mom
have to
doesn't-
understand too that our parents and certain people of a certain generation past or whatever, you know, they also grew up in a different world,
Yeah.
right? Where success meant something different and it looked in a different way, right? So we also have to remember that we're not coloring the same coloring book. We're not dreaming the same dream. You know what I mean? We're not, you know, it's not the same.
Jamie.
It just isn't, right?
Baby, Jamie.
So,
Okay, girl, you dropped them nuggets.
so
Y'all ain't coloring the same coloring book. I ain't never heard that one, but I'll give you your props and I'll sow a seed. I'll give you the tithe. I'll give you the first 10% of me using your quote. That was good.
Got it. No, but we're not, you know. So we also have to, that's what I mean. Like we also have to appreciate, I guess, even them rendering the attention or the love and the care of like even caring enough about and worrying and praying for us, right? Now, you know, their thing about it or how they envisioned our lives is not exactly what we envision for ourselves, right? My mom thought she was gonna have a little princess. I'm an engineer. I turn wrenches. My hands are full of calluses. It just is what it is, darling. So, you know, it just, you know, so now has she accepted it? Absolutely. Now she's proud to say, oh, my daughter's an engineer, you know, but before she used to be like, but you know, just say something else, you know. Now she doesn't. Now she's super proud. Now she's like, oh yeah, my daughter's an engineer. Oh, what does your kid do, you know?
She bragging,
you know?
now. I know it.
So, you know, sometimes it just looks a little different for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my God, guys, I could be here all day talking to you guys. This has been an amazing, amazing interview. I don't know, Tocarra, if you've had an opportunity to listen to some of our other podcasts. And if you haven't, you have. All right, look at one of our you know that we end our podcast with the W4. And so one of our, yes, let's go. So you have 1 minute to add, well, not 1 minute, like 30 seconds, basically. One word to one sentence, real quick, real fast. What is one law that you would make that everyone would have to follow and why?
Do unto others as they do unto you.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We need that.
I love that one.
We need that. We that love. It's important, especially in this day in society, for sure.
That's right. I stamped that. I stamped that. What is your smile maker?
I would say when my clients have that aha moment and they understand how powerful the book is.
Ooh,
I'd be
that's
crying.
messy.
That's tears, man. Yeah, for sure.
You know why I love that one? Because I feel like, and everyone's smile maker is very individual. It's your own, right? Because I have my son is mine. And it's a beautiful no matter what it is. But I really love yours because I think outside of, I don't think anyone has said that before. And because it has nothing to do with like a person or an animal or anything like that. It's like a value, an added value you're giving that you're not really benefiting in the moment. And it's just like a joy. Like, I like to see you smile. One thing, I forgot what the term was. I saw it in a movie and I forgot. I hope I remember what it is. I thrive off of like walking into a park or whatever and seeing two kids interact or seeing a couple hug and kiss and just like have that intimate moment. I thrive on those moments. Like, I have no idea what's going on or what they're saying, but I just love to see the interaction. And so that reminds me of that. Like it has nothing to do with me, but I like to see you smile. Like,
oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I have my clients in my head, especially my baby clients right now. We're working on getting their books out, and it's a joy to see them like so happy to be published authors. So anyways, okay.
I love that. All right. Who's your hero?
My mom.
Mm.
My mom, being a single parent and just really showing me so much about being independent and understand my worth as a woman. My mom. All day.
Props to your mom. Sending her our flowers to her. And then what is your mark on this world? What is the mark that Tocarra Nicole wants to leave on this world?
Knowing who you are is a game changer. And when you know who you are, you can change the game. So that's it. Once you tap into like your identity and you know your secret sauce, and it's rinse and repeat everywhere you go, that's it.
I got the juice.
Yes.
Tocarra, where can we find you? How can someone work with you? How can they find you? Let us know.
Sure. So I really believe in authors finding their authority, not just because the word author is in the word authority, mic drop, but yourauthor'sauthority.com is my website. People can find me there. I'm also on Facebook. I am Tocarra Nicole. And I'm sometimes on the gram. I was in an interview. I'm so bad at Instagram. But the number 2, Cara, CARA _ Nicole. You can also find my shows if you are on Roku, Apple Fire, Amazon TV. Look for Black House Media, and then the Voss TV network. You can find our amazing shows. Vault Talks Women Share just celebrated 5 years of existence. We started as a radio show, and now we're on TV, so we're really excited. That's how people can find me.
That's amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being our guest. Thank you for blessing us with your stories, with your lessons, with your light, with your essence, with your spirituality, with all of you. We truly appreciate it. And as always, I like to leave my listeners with a quote or a life lesson of some sort. And I think that today's quote or saying is to live your life as best you can, but live it in your truth and live it with your own path, and live it balanced in spirituality, balanced in knowledge, and balanced in purpose.